Dragii mei, în cea de-a treia zi a summitului de la haos la scalare, calea soloprenorului eficient. Astăzi avem un oaspete din străinătate, așa că voi începe să vorbesc în limba engleză. So, welcome, Colin. I'm so glad that you accepted my invitation to this summit.
Delighted to be here, Adriana.
Right. So let me tell you guys, I met Colin at a summit last year, the coaching.com summit, and I just love the way he kind of mixed the business, AI, and spiritual side, and I've been following him since then. So let me tell you a few words about Colin. He's an AI strategy and marketing coach with over 30 years of experience in building aligned, purpose-driven businesses. Love that. He holds a master's in marketing, has created multiple 6 and 7 figures ventures, and is the founder of Unlimited and AI Boost programs that empowers conscious entrepreneurs to integrate AI with heart and purpose. Just love it. So our topic for today is AI as a co-creation partner. Build a business aligned with your mission. So let's go and dive into how can we use AI with soul, not just a tool, but as a trusted partner in the business creation. Colin, what does it mean to treat AI as a co-creation partner rather than just a productivity tool?
I love that question, Adriana, and it boils down to the word partner. So most people will go onto AI, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, whichever AI that you're using, and will say, write me an email, give me a blog post, create this for me. And then we sit back and fold our arms and watch the AI work its wonder and create some text and create content for us. And really, that's the wrong way to leverage the AI. Well, maybe not the wrong way, but it's barely scratching the surface of what AI is capable of. And so what I like to stress is that AI is a co-intelligence. So a co-intelligence that we are able to co-create with. And that's where the partnership comes in. So rather than having the AI do things for us, what if we were to look at the AI as to how we might do things together? And that changes the frame of everything, because now we're not just going into the AI saying, write me an email. We're going into the AI trying to think better or expand our thinking or see things differently. So how might AI, instead of you going to AI and saying, write me this email, create me this content for my business or my website, what if you were to go to the AI and say, I'm running a business that does X and I'd like to see things differently. How might I do that? And it's by making those level of inquiries with the AI that we start to see our world differently, and the AI acts as our thinking partner. So it acts very much in co-intelligence with us. And that's the idea of this co-creation partner. So now you've got this beautiful ally that is working with you, alongside you, and helping you to be a better human being. That's completely different to the way that most people view AI, because most people view AI as, write me a blog post, create me some social content, right? Now we're talking something completely different, because now we're saying, well, how might I be a better human with this tech? And that for me is the epitome of AI as a co-creation partner, Adriana.
Yeah, that's great. I think in one of the episodes of your podcast, which is Thrive and Inspire, I hope I'm not mistaken.
Thrive and serve.
Sorry, Thrive and
It's
Serve.
okay.
Okay. You said that AI is mirroring ourselves. Can you explain a little bit? I'm not sure I quoted correctly, but this
You
was
did?
the general idea I picked up from that episode.
Yeah, so if we think about the way that AIs work, if you're not aware or you don't understand, I mean, it's really simple. They are masters in pattern recognition. Okay. So then they're not human. We're not talking to another human being. We're talking to a machine that is a master of pattern recognition. And it's also the keeper of consciousness, of memory, of understanding, and of knowledge of all of humanity. So it's been trained on the corpus of knowledge of the entirety of the human race, everything that we've ever known, done, seen, felt, heard, and experienced. And so with that, when we come to the AI, and we come to the AI looking to leverage it as a thought partner, it does something very different to just trying to leverage it to give me something, like give me an email, give me copy. If we bring to the AI our pattern of who we are as human beings, I am Colin Scotland, an AI strategist and coach. I help purpose-driven coaches and entrepreneurs amplify their impact with AI. So just in me describing who I am to the AI in that way, all of a sudden now AI can pattern match from what I've given it. So it takes the patterns I've given it and it mirrors those back to me in what it provides. So if I ask it to write a blog post or create content or help me devise my next product offering, it's going to frame it in purpose-driven entrepreneurs, people who want to amplify their impact, people who want to serve others, people who want to change the world, and people who want to do that using AI. So all of those parameters have been given to the AI, and then AI can mirror that back in its outputs. The difference is honestly night and day. So what you get from just saying, hey, help me to build my next product, and what you get from saying, hey, here's who I am, I call it a power positioning statement. So I am A, I help B to do C with D. And what is that for you? How do you show up in the world? Who do you serve? How do you serve them? And in what way and why? And when we give that information to AI, that's when it can begin to act as a true co-intelligence and a mirror for both our thinking and our ability to create new, unimagined things. Becomes really magical. Whatever we put in, it mirrors that back. Does that make sense, Adriana?
Yeah, it makes total sense. I was thinking now because I have an AI agent, I would say, which I programmed to, it's for solopreneurs. It's taking their step by step. It's taking them by hand and to go from niche and avatar down to, create products and launch them. So basically, for me, AI is a source, an infinite source of abundance. That's how I see it. But I wonder if by the way I program it, I didn't limit it. I mean, people are very happy working with it, like it's magical what's doing. But in the back of it, it's my system, my I mean, it's not a wrong system. It follows the normal steps. But I'm wondering how much of me it's in there in those answers and how much is them. But I think maybe this is too technical to get into
Well,
answering.
it's simple really, because what you could do is you could test that. There's a technique in prompting where we do something called a zero shot prompt. So we don't give any of that system that you're talking about where it takes them through certain steps and does specific things. What you're doing with the AI is you're giving it parameters, you're giving it guardrails. And so you could attempt to create the same steps or recreate the same steps without the guardrails. But is it a custom GPT, Adriana?
No, it's an open AI. It's an open AI. It's programmed by my programmer. Initially,
Yeah.
it was a custom, a little bit more advanced of a custom GPT, more complex, I would say. And then
Yeah.
we did it in open AI.
Okay. So what you can do is you can build, this is a useful thing to understand, is you can build in a world-class layer to everything that you're doing right now. So you could test it without having the parameters, the guardrails that we just spoke about, to see what the outputs come back as. I would guess that they wouldn't be as good because it doesn't have those guardrails and those frameworks. And at the same time, you can also examine and explore what I call the world-class layer. So this is applicable to this little process of building a business that you're following, or anybody that's putting anything into the AI. Before you ask it for the thing that you want, ask it what world-class looks like. What does a world-class business building system look like? What are the 5 most critical steps? Because if we think about this co-intelligence again, that will allow us to see maybe some things that we've not seen, and it will allow us then to co-create something that is
Even better.
Even better, or up to that world-class standard. And what that does is it sense checks anything that we do. I do this with anything and everything that I'm doing in AI. I don't say, hey, I need to create this new course. I start by understanding what world-class looks like, what the best in the world looks like in terms of framework, procedure, process, all of those things. And what that does then to the AI, it actually does something very clever because it creates, it's called system prompting. It creates a guardrail for the AI, just like your program that gives it parameters to do step after step after step. By asking it what world class looks like, and then in the same conversation thread, asking it to now implement on that world class framework, it uses that framework as its guardrails. It's quite clever because then it's not just randomly picking out things that it thinks you might want. It bases it on what you've instructed it and what it's given you back. So that's like a little back and forth, couple of conversations where we are now co-authoring, co-creating with the AI, and that to me is the best way to get the most out of the technology right now.
Wow, this is really, and I'll do that because I feel that obviously we always can improve. So you mentioned that you're helping solopreneurs use AI to amplify their mission. And I wanted to ask you, what are the top 3 ways that entrepreneurs can use AI to amplify what they're doing?
So first, as a thinking partner, I would suggest that's the number one. What we've just spoken about this co-intelligence, this co-author, this co-creator, first as a thinking partner, then as a helping you to be a better human being, right? So that you can hone, level up, improve all areas of how you show up on this planet in service of others. Think about that and think about all those avenues and areas of you as a human, your spiritual development, your physical development, your emotional development, your relationship with others. AI can help in all of those areas and avenues, not just in the game of business. So how are you leveraging AI to be a better human? That would be my second. And then the third would be, how are we now leveraging AI to serve others through our work? And this is where the game of business comes in, because this is where we can use AI to understand our ideal clients, the people that pay us to deliver our services. And in that understanding, we can then start to craft offers and products and services and create messaging and copy and content and all of the things that we need in order to create that client and deliver that transformation to others. So in service of others, what does that transformation look like? What does the value proposition look like? AI can amplify, accelerate massively all of these things. And so it's all of them, Adriana, it's like those 3 encapsulate the entire picture, I guess.
Yeah, I remember that in one of your emails, you send a prompt, which really helped me looking at my future self and what do I have to improve. That was a great prompt, which I shared with my friends, and I said, guys, try it because really it's enlightening. And from there, I was able to work out the strategy for this year, for the following years. I was absolutely so really grateful for that. It truly helped from my perspective, and
I'm so glad.
suggested things because I continued the discussion and say, okay, this is the things that are blocking me. What should I do? So the conversation was amazing. I really appreciated that prompt, really.
That's a great example of co-creation, isn't it? Of co-intelligence, because what that none of us don't know what we don't know. There's a field, a vast field outside of our understanding and our awareness. It's called the unknown, the unknown unknown, right? We don't know that we don't know. And so this is a big, dark expanse of unknown in front of every one of us, no matter how intelligent we are, no matter how much we study. I've studied marketing for, since I was 18, like that's 32 years. And the things that I know about marketing are a drop in the ocean in comparison to the whole area of marketing, right? And that's just one field, one sphere. And we just don't know. We don't know that we don't know. So this is why I keep harping on about the idea of AI as co-intelligence, because it knows all of those things that I never will, not just in the field of marketing, but in the field of business, in entrepreneurship, development, client acquisition, any and all topics that we can think about. It is the keeper of all of that knowledge of humanity, remember? So it can help us to see and understand and know those things that we just can't know. That's the real power of AI for me.
I think here we can say that some people are thriving on the unknown, and some people are frightened by the
Of
unknown.
course.
But
Of
there you
course.
go. So across this summit, we are talking a lot about alignment, that in order to be able to scale, you need to be aligned inside yourself and with the outside, because really you cannot outgrow yourself. I mean, the results you're having basically are the mirror of who you really are inside, and unless you grow there is no way you can achieve more. Well, maybe you can, but what's the cost? Anyway, you said you're working with purpose-driven entrepreneurs, and so do I. So how do you help them stay in alignment while building systems that scale? Sometimes I find that people are not very happy with systems, especially those who are purpose-driven.
I believe systems are easy. I believe processes are easy. I believe building a business is easy. What's not easy is that courage to step into the darkness. And when we have that courage to step out into that darkness, into the unknown unknown, that's when magic happens. That's when our true selves reveal themselves, and the world is seen differently by us. And then other people resonate with that, and they want to work with us, and they get to see who we truly are on the inside. And that can't happen if we're not in alignment. It's not possible for us to take that step because we're always and often paralyzed by fear. So for me, Adriana, it's about really anchoring ourselves in the why, the reason that we're doing this. Why are we doing this? Why are you doing this? Why do you want to build this business? Why do you want to serve these people? Why do you want to do that? And there's a beautiful quote by Nietzsche that says, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." And what that does is that truly anchors us in to that sense and that feeling of alignment, of calling, of purpose, of doing something that feels meaningful to us. And then we are more likely to draw on that, to find the courage to step out into that darkness, to do the work. From that place, we can build systems, we can scale, we can grow businesses, we can create offers, but only if we're in alignment first. And then that alignment, I believe, never stops. We always have to keep diligently working on staying in that, because it's like a pendulum, right? It's never still, it's always moving. And as the pendulum swings forward, then it swings back, and it swings forward, and it swings back. And we feel like, oh, there's alignment. Oh, we're out of alignment again. And then we come back. Oh, there's alignment, and we're out of alignment again. And that's the nature of our experience as human beings. That's just the very nature of it. When we understand and appreciate that, we can begin to work within that parameter and look inside and say, well, okay, what do I need today in order to get back into that sense and that place of rhythm and alignment? And then from that place, how do I now begin to create that system, build that business, put myself out there into the world in a way that will make that difference that I'm here to make? And only when we're anchored in that, rooted deeply in that desire to serve others, can we show up in a way that's meaningful. Do you know what's interesting?
Alignment is like a journey. It never stops. And I'm telling people a story. I studied at University of Humberside in Hull, and as one of my subjects was total quality management. And I'm very good with systems. I like systems. I understand. And one day I asked the teacher, okay, so what do we do when we get to the total quality management? I mean, what's the point? What do we do? And he said, you never stop, because you raise and raise, the quality. And I was so disappointed. And a little bit, it's the same with alignment. It's like you discover things, you know.
It's that concept, that Japanese concept of continuous improvement, isn't it? It's just that's what TQM is all about. So it's the same is true of us as humans, right? We are drawing breath in and breathing breath out. And as long as we're doing that, we are called to be continuously developing and growing and watching that pendulum swing back and forth and doing that work. It's a continual journey. It's not a do and done deal. We get to wake up tomorrow and do it all again, and then the next day, and then the next, you know.
Next day. It never stops, and that makes it fun. Now, I'm working with a lot of coaches and therapists, authors, and one of their biggest fear is that, you know, AI is taking away their voice. So in your opinion, what's the biggest mindset shift needed for hard-led entrepreneurs to embrace AI without feeling that they're selling out?
I love that question, because, and that's something I get asked a lot by my clients, by the people I speak to and share the wonders of what's possible with AI. It's the first thing that comes back, like, oh no, it's going to, you know, it's not me, it's inauthentic, it's made up by a robot, so how could it ever be me? And I would invite you just to kind of throw that over your shoulder for a second and consider that AI can act. If we truly meet AI from that place and that intention of co-intelligence, then AI can act as an amplifier of us, as an accelerator of our voice, as something that helps us to massively increase our capacity to go serve others. So rather than replace you, what if it was to amplify you? And I think just making that little shift, that subtle framing shift from replacement to amplifier, it changes everything. Because now we're not going, oh no, we're not fear. We're not in that sympathetic nervous system response of fear where we're thinking AI is going to destroy the world and it's going to take over me and it's going to replace me. We're now thinking, how might I make my voice even louder?
True.
How might I be more of me in the world, not less? And so if the constraint is time, and the constraint is your ability to create content or intellectual property, IP, that you share with others, well, guess what? We've now got a tool that allows us to 100x our productivity, that allows us to 100x our capacity. So instead of creating a single thing in a day, with AI, it's possible for us to create 10 such things, or 50, or even 100. These things are possible now. And it all starts just with that little shift in thinking from replacement to amplification.
It's good to you brought all this up because we have a panel tonight, an open panel on the future of AI and how it impacts us. And one of the topics will be about ethics and integrity. And yeah, it is a question here. How do you help entrepreneurs integrate AI with integrity, and intentionality? Because I hear, oh, it's not me there. Oh, I'm stealing from other people, kind of thing.
Yeah, again, great question, and one that comes up a lot. It's like it's top of mind for people. And so when we talk about AI being the amplifier of you, there's a very definite way that you can do this. And my encouragement to you is to think of something I call the human AI sandwich. And it's a very simple process of, rather than, hey, AI, make me this thing, and then we're allowing the AI to take on anybody else's knowledge and understanding and put it together, and then we pass that off as our own. That's not yours to pass off as your own, right? That's created by AI. And rightly so. So your instinct to have that skepticism about it is right. There's nothing wrong with that instinct. So the approach that I encourage you to think about or consider is the human AI sandwich. So rather than have the AI synthesize something that isn't you or isn't yours, what if we were to take a different approach? And I do this a lot, and I do it with my clients. I hit the voice record on my phone and I'll share an idea. So, hey, I have this wonderful idea about creating a resource for Adriana and the summit that she's running for these beautiful entrepreneurs looking to increase their impact. And I would like it too. And then I'd literally just give a stream of consciousness of the thing I'm looking to create. So the result of that, I've just spoken into my phone and I've got a transcript now. That's the human part, because that idea has come from Colin. I might get an idea or a spark of an idea from a conversation with AI, but it's still from me. And so if I take that transcript of that voice note, drop that transcript into ChatGPT, and I do this all the time, here is an idea I have for a product for Adriana's audience. Help me develop this. Help me summarize my thinking. What am I missing? What am I not seeing about this that I might want to consider? And now help me to flesh this out. What does a world-class product of this type look like? And now all of a sudden, the AI can add polish, it can flesh things out, it can create based on the kernel of the idea that is mine. It's Colin's idea, nobody else is in the world. And then so that's the filling of the sandwich, right? We together, me and AI, we co-create this thing, this product. And then the final part of it is the human again. So then Colin comes in and refines and adds his personal touch to this. So think of that process. And my invitation is to explore a process like that, where you give the AI your idea, your thinking, allow the AI to work its magic, and then you are in the driving seat, both in the creation part, in the sandwich filling, and also in the bread that finishes it all off, because you are the human that has the final say. This doesn't sound like me. I wouldn't use those words. And that's on you. You have ownership and agency of that. So go play with the human AI sandwich would be my advice.
Oh, that's great advice. Thank you very much, Colin. Just one last question, but because we're getting close to the end. So if someone is hesitant or overwhelmed by AI, what's the one small soul-led step they can take to begin the journey with confidence?
I think it's really simple. We get started by getting started. So if you haven't used AI at all, maybe go to ChatGPT or Claude and sign up for an account and just start thinking into the AI. So there are no rules with this. This is a co-intelligence. It will meet you where you're at. It will mirror where you're at, remember, because of the pattern recognition. So in its simplest form, we get started by getting started, sign up for an account, start thinking the thoughts that you're having, I'm not sure how I might use this. I am a da-da-da coach and I like to help these types of people, but I really don't know how AI might help me. And I'm doing this with my hands, right? Because I would be literally typing those things into the AI. And that for me is just the best way to do it is by deliberate practice. And that starts by just starting that practice. So that would be my encouragement and my invitation to you is to sign up for an account and start. I call it playtime. Create some playtime in your diary. You wouldn't believe the amount of tools and softwares and AI things that are going on in the world of AI. It's just crazy. It's too much to keep up with, right?
That's true.
And so I intentionally have playtime baked into my calendar. I'll have a Pomodoro, a 25-minute window of playtime. And in that playtime, I'm just no calls, no distractions, no emails, like just Colin playing with his AI toys. And so my encouragement would be for you to do the same. Set some time for playtime, sign up for an account and go think into the AI. Don't think you can get it wrong because you can't. The more that you get those reps in and you start experimenting, then before you know it, you'll be an expert.
Wow. Thank you, Colin, for bringing so much depth, clarity, and soulful wisdom to this conversation. Today we've seen that AI isn't here to replace our creativity or our mission. It's here to support it. It can be the silent partner that helps us bring structure to our vision, flow to the systems, and freedom to our time, because freedom is what we want most. If you've been afraid of tech, this is your permission to slip to explore it with heart. Stay with us here in the summit for more aligned insights are coming your way. Thanks, Colin, a lot for your time.
You're welcome.